You're listening to the Crystal Bar podcast, where crystals, astrology, and aligned living meet the cycles of the moon and year. I'm Claire, and each week I bring guidance and stories to inspire you to live with clarity, connection, and purpose. So take a deep breath, make this time for you, and let's begin. So as we step into this episode of the podcast, I just want to give a huge thanks quickly to Claire and Katie, who on our WhatsApp chit chat have just kindly given me some guidance. I have had hay fever for a couple of years, but nothing strenuous, nothing terrible like a lot of you suffer with, I have to say. But this year it started quite early. As you know, the pollen is going strong, and I've just got the trickly nose, really. I've already been told about local honey. I've already tried other methods and whatnot, but thank you so much for giving me other tips and ideas. And to anyone who's suffering, I feel really sorry. So if I need to keep stopping to blow my nose, that is why. But my goodness, this week is giving good weather-wise. It's very blustery though. I've noticed every single day we've had high winds, but beautiful sunshine. At the weekend, Stuart and I we stained our fences. We still need to do a little bit more. We still need to do the shed and the arbour because, no rest for the wicked and all that. And we want to change the colour of those. But the colour's a lot darker than I was expecting. I wanted like a golden oaky colour, and it's actually a golden brown. And on the tin, it looks like, well, the colour I wanted, but no, putting it out there on the fence, it's very dark. But I'm not complaining because now our acer tree pops against it. And then looking out from the lounge to the fence, it looks really quite nice. It matches the aesthetic of the lounge. Because it's got that orangey colour. It's almost a bit like the brickwork in some ways. So yeah, I really like it, to be honest. But I hope you're having a great day. Today, Arnie and Ivy are off to their new groomers for a pamper session. Well, that's after work. We're dropping them off at 4:30. And today I've got your lovely orders to deal with. Oh, honestly, it's been such a joy. So many lovely new customers, and you guys have been placing orders, and I know it's you because you're using the code that I give you at the end of the podcast. So I am forever grateful that you've trusted in me to want to try the crystals. Also as well, for the Crystal Year owners, ready your books. Get your books ready and start getting the crystals you need for the month ahead, their recommendations, getting the bits you might need for the rituals, and getting your affirmations ready. Just a little heads up for you. But I have to say, thank you as well for those of you. Gosh, I feel like I'm like on a sales trip here, but I just need to say thank you to those of you who are a student of or are inquiring about the Crystal Bar Academy, the courses. I listened and I heard you. Many of you reached out and asked if I could possibly do payment plans, not through Klarna, not through ClearPay, just bog standard payment plans through the website. So I've done it. Every single bundle, every single course, you can either pay for 1 month or like in full, or over 2 months. However, the larger priced items are over 3 months. So there we go. I hope that's helped. I know it's helping because the last 5 people that have signed up this week have used those payment terms. So I'm really pleased that it's given you the opportunity, if you are budgeting, especially as the economy is as it is right now, the fact that you've been able to jump on board, start your course. You can start it straight away. There's no waiting until you've paid for it all. I'm just pleased I was able to make that happen. But there we go. And for those of you waiting for malachite, I know that I keep getting messages on socials. I'm so sorry. It's sat there, the new malachite. It will be added today or tomorrow, I promise. But gosh, right. So shall we get into this podcast? I've actually been thinking about this episode a lot this week because if I'm honest, nothing huge is happening astrologically in the next 7 days. We're on the cusp of it. We've got the full moon in Scorpio, we've got Beltane and other incredible things happening. But in terms of peaks. There's no big, this is what you should be doing energy. And normally that's where some of you might start to feel a bit off because you are governed by the planets and the stars and the universe in more ways than you realize. And if I'm honest with you, this has given the questions I'm going to answer later, get my words out, are from academy students. And I've noticed it a lot with a lot of you just feeling a little bit off par after the sort of the joyous start to the new astrological year. And in that slight restless feeling, a lot of you have been saying that you feel like you should be doing more and you should be further ahead. And why does everything feel a bit slower than it did a few weeks ago? And what's interesting is this isn't just us. This is everywhere right now. If you look at what people are talking about, what the big podcasts are discussing, what's coming up in conversations, it's not manifestation hacks or how to get everything instantly. It's people questioning things like their path, their purpose, and whether they're doing the right thing and whether they've missed something. And I think that's exactly what this week is about. Not doing more, but actually sitting with where you are. So should we jump into this? Because I've got something else to talk about before I discuss that. So firstly, I do want to talk about Earth Day. That is today, because it's one of those things that comes around every year and we sort of acknowledge it, but we don't always feel it. And I think the real conversation around Earth Day right now isn't just about the planet in a big global sense. It's more about how disconnected we've become in our everyday lives. We're constantly on our phones, ironic because I'm doing a podcast, but we're constantly consuming, we're constantly thinking about what's next and very rarely just being where we are. And I'm not saying that in a preachy way because I do it too. But when you actually stop, even for a minute, and just stand outside or sit with your crystals or just breathe without distraction, something shifts. And you come back into yourself. And this is why grounding is being talked about so much right now, not just in spiritual spaces, but in mental health conversations as well. Because it's not just nice to ground yourself, it actually regulates you and it slows everything down internally. So if this week does feel a bit off, or a bit slow, or a bit unclear, instead of trying to fix it or think your way out of it, just come back to yourself. You don't need to solve everything this week. And this leads into something I really want to talk about because this is coming up so much with you guys at the moment. The feeling of, am I on the right path? And I can't tell you how many messages I've seen, how many conversations I've had where people are quietly worrying about what they're getting into or whether they're getting it wrong somehow. And I think we've just been sold this idea that when you're on the right path, everything just clicks and it feels easy, it feels clear, and it flows all the time. But that's not actually how it works. Sometimes being on the right path feels slow and it feels uncertain. And it feels like you're questioning everything because you're growing. And growth isn't always comfortable. It's not always obvious either. And a lot of the time, nothing looks different on the outside, but internally, everything is shifting. So if you've been feeling like that lately, like you're doing things, like you're trying, but you're not seeing much coming back yet, that doesn't mean it's not working. It usually means something is building. And something else I've noticed as well this week is something very important to talk about. And I kind of touched on this the other week, but spirituality is changing. Less noise, more truth. There's a lot more noise now. A lot more, do this, buy this, follow this, manifest this quickly. And I can definitely feel it, and I know you must be feeling that it must be, get my words out, sorry, that it's quite overwhelming. There we go. And I think people are starting to feel that. I really feel like you guys are, and that's why I feel terrible talking about what I sell. But anyway, there we go. But there's almost this quiet shift happening where you guys don't want quick fixes anymore. You want something that actually feels real, something that helps you understand yourself, not just distract you. And this is where I want to bring you back to something very simple. You don't need everything. You don't need loads of tools, loads of rituals, loads of information all the time. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit with yourself and ask, what actually feels right for me right now? What should I be doing? And what could I do that isn't what everyone else is doing, but what feels right for me? What feels right for you? Because that's where your power is. Not what the expectations of you are, not what everybody feels like you should be doing, but what feels right for you. Ask yourself that question and see where it takes you. So we've got some listener questions today. As I say, these came from Academy students, okay? So in terms of supporting the students, we do have a community hub, and I also find that students reach out. And this lovely student is setting up, just to give you some context, is setting up her own clinic. I'll just put it like that, so I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, she's setting up her own clinic, and she's studied, she's got all the knowledge she needs. But she asked me she said to me that she feels like she's doing loads but getting nowhere. And I wanted to bring this question in because honestly, I think so many of you feel like this at some point. Because we tend to measure progress by what we can see, the results, the changes, the outcomes. But a lot of the time, the real progress is happening underneath all of that. It's in how you guys think differently. It's how you respond differently and what you're no longer tolerating. And those shifts come first. The external changes follow later. So if you feel like you're putting effort in and not getting anything back yet, don't assume it's not working. You might just be in the middle of it. And the second question I received was, how do I trust myself more? This is often another question that comes up a lot. How do I trust that I'm good enough? How do I trust that I can deliver what I promise? And this, again, is such a big one right now. Because we have so much... Apologies, I thought I was going to sneeze. Oh, I'm back. Right. Because we have so much access to information and guidance and opinions, it's very easy to start looking outside of yourself for answers. And again, tools are helpful and guidance is helpful, but they shouldn't replace you. So a simple practice for this is before you ask anyone else what they think, pause and ask yourself first. Even if you're not sure, even if it feels unclear, ask yourself first, because that's how you build trust within yourself, not by getting it perfect, but by actually listening. And I must just cap this off by saying, try. You might make mistakes, but you learn from mistakes and you grow and you get knowledge and you get confidence and strength. So, if it's yourself that's stopping you, put yourself in your place, tell yourself you can. So I have to also mention, let's come out of that a tiny touch. We are now in Taurus season. Where's the clapping? So I don't know if that even stayed in the podcast when I edit it, but we'll see. I just played some cheering people for those fiery people who have had enough of the passion and the courage and the strength. This is now about earth and grounding, okay? This is another reason you might be feeling like you've been go, 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 and then you're feeling magnetized to the spot. Let's just touch on it though, the energy of Taurus, because we're moving through that from, it was the 20th, so we were 2 days in. And this is very different to what we've come out of, as I just said. It's slower, more grounded, more focused on stability. Think of Aries as being carnelian and like popping candy. And then you've got Taurus as fluorite. I know it's an earth sign, but just bobbing in the water and grounding yourself into the sand, okay? But I don't want you to think of it as doing nothing. This season is more about being intentional. So it's about choosing what actually matters and building something that feels solid, not rushed. So if things feel a lot slower right now, that isn't a problem at all. That is the energy supporting you to do things properly. So, with that being said, journal those ideas down. If you're not really feeling in a pizzazzy mood and you can't really feel the motivation, still let those ideas out on paper or whatever your project might be, or your thoughts or your emotions, and let them ruminate around on the page until you're ready to come back with it. However, by you writing them down, you've started the process. The universe can see what you want to put on paper and what's important to you, and it will hear you. It's a simple writing spell project. And I think I will leave you with this. This is a short one this week. I'm so sorry. Yesterday was a very busy day with full day of reading. So I'm a little bit behind on your beautiful orders. And I need to finish a little bit early today to feed the doggies, take them for their wander before they spruce up. But as I say, I think I'll leave this with you today because this feels like the most important part of this week. I just want to remind you that you're not behind. You're not missing something, and you don't need to rush to catch up. This beautiful kind of energy where things feel a bit quieter between the moons, between all the planetary alignments, this all feels a little bit quieter, a bit uncertain, a bit slower. But this is where a lot of the real change happens. Not in the big, loud moments, but in the subtle ones. So instead of trying to push through it or rush, just let yourself be in it. Let yourself figure things out at your own pace. Because next week, when things start to pick up again, I was going to say pack a punch and I kind of stopped myself, so apologies. But they are going to pack a punch. It's the full moon in Scorpio, so get ready to hold on to your hats. And we've got Beltane as well. It's all giving. But as the 7 days in front of us start moving on, you'll start feeling it pick up again. And you will feel the difference. You're going to feel clearer, more certain, more grounded in what you do. So thank you for being here, as always. And if any of this resonated, I'd love to know. And if you've just been sat there going, Claire, will you just shut up? You're just talking at us. Get us some more people on this podcast so we can have a little listen. In other words, guests. Let me know if you'd like to join me. Why not, hey? Would you like to be interviewed about your spirituality, about your building business? Are you an academy student that would like to talk about your next plans? Get in touch with me. You can email me at clairetitmus@me.com, or you can pop me a message on socials, ideally Instagram. I find those messages much easier to navigate than Facebook's. Don't always get notifications through them. Yeah, reach out. Why not? Don't worry, it's not a video one. What I tend to do is just send you a little invite to chit chat, and it's just like a phone call, and then I record that. And that's all it is. Simple as that. But come on, let's give you guys a little bit of exposure. I will need a photo though, because I like to advertise it, but there we are. Anyway, my lovely, if this resonated, if you've got any questions you want me to cover in the next episode, send them over. And of course, I'll chit chat with you again next week. But I'm always in the socials. I'm always in stories. I'm always sharing your orders in stories as well. meet me over there. Come and say hello. But I'll see you again next week when the energy shifts again. Lots of love and light. And remember, say it out loud. I know you're listening and I know you're going to say it. Ready? The right crystal will always find you. Before you go, I have a very special discount code for you, especially for those of you who love buying crystals. So, the code is Podcast Crystal. If you use this at checkout at thecrystalbar.co.uk, you will get a very secret discount. And yes, it is a secret because I changed the value of the code throughout the year. So who knows what discount you will receive. But I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you found it beneficial. And if you have, I'd be really grateful if you could just leave a comment, leave a review. And of course, if you have a friend who loves crystals just like us, please do share it with them. Sending you love, sending you light. Have a great week because honestly, my lovelies, you really do deserve it. And as I said earlier, remember, the right crystal will always find you.